All right, everybody, during a bit of a break we had before Navi versus Mousesport's going to be starting up, I have actually put in a picture of him. I don't know if he's going to be really happy with the picture I chose of him, but we are here with one of the key members and legend in the Dota 2 scene. It is the player from Alliance, the team who just went 2-0 in their game from the Dota 2 Championship League. It is LODA, man. How are you actually feeling tonight, man? You've normally been a little bit under the weather of late. Are you feeling okay today?
Hello, by the way. I'm okay. I was about to warn you that I might have a cough attack at some point, but overall I'm fine.
Man, is it just the Swedish cold that's dragging you down every...
I actually don't know what happened. I mean, I was bragging to everyone that I had him in sick for like a year, and then suddenly I got hit by this flu, and then I got kind of well, but I still have the cough, so I think I have to go to the doctor actually.
Well, I hope you get it all sorted out before we both travel to Korea in 2 weeks' time, because that's going to be... Walk around the Koreans, they wear those face masks for a very good reason when they walk around.
Yeah, I think I'll just adapt to that and get my own face mask.
Yeah, just imagine that. The entire Alliance side, while they're locked inside of a box, all wearing 5 face masks just to protect themselves from the diseased LODA. Great.
Yeah, I actually made the whole team sick twice, I think.
Really?
Yeah. Once during the boot camp and then...
Wait, was it you that spread the disease at TI3 then?
No. I was very, very long before that. But I think my team might have done it. But I mean, don't tell anyone I said that.
So what? So you gave it to your team at boot camp, then you were fine for the entire event, but it was your team that was still contagious and spread it through the air conditioning system of the hotel everyone was staying at?
Yeah, something like that. I mean,
the way Alliance won TI3 was actually to lick the top of every single bottle that all the other teams drank out of and just spread the disease.
I made sure to shook every single player's hand during the event. And...
Well done, man. Well done. I know I polluted the casting pool. Because we were all using the same headset and keyboard and everything else. I wiped it down at the end of it. I'm like, I need a strong disinfectant for this, or this is not going to work.
I didn't know that. That's actually a bit gross.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was fun. Maybe next time I bring my own keyboard and mouse. Yeah. Anyway, man, let's actually have a chat about the D2CL.
Yeah,
because obviously that's kind of the prime reason we're actually here. Now, you've managed to go... Let's look at your group to start with. You've gone through your group so far, and you're locked up in first position. Are you even surprised by any of the results? Like, I'm not going to say, are you surprised by EG and VP being on the bottom? But are you surprised at Sigma being in the number 1 with being undefeated for 2 games?
I didn't even know we had so many wins. How many wins do we have in this league?
You really do play too many games, don't you?
Yeah, but it's like sometimes you don't know what league you're playing. Yeah, but I thought this was our second game.
Yeah, that was your second. That was your second. Okay. So you go 2-0. You got a win over EG, and your first game in this one was up against virtus.pro.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I think we had a good group, but we were the last 1-2 weeks. I think we've gotten, I don't know, better control of how the games go. I mean, the way we draft and the way we execute during the games feels a lot better. I mean, first game was a bit greedy from us, I feel, and then also, I don't know, I'm not gonna whine too much about it, but I think that this shaker pulling is, I don't know. So everyone knows, I've played Dota since Dota 1. In Dota 1, it was blocked to do these things where you block base with Fissure, or you play Ancients with Fissure, you do these things, and to me, it feels... I mean, I don't blame EG because we've done the same thing. I mean, it's just that I feel that some things should be attended to.
At the same time in that game, like, Fear never actually got a block pull off.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That wasn't even the thing that decided the game, but it's more of a thing that makes you annoyed when you go into a game. You know, okay, is he gonna pull mid lane or is he gonna pull off lane, and what are we gonna do to stop it? But I mean, first game was just horrible. I mean, we were greedy, as I said, and then they just kept snowballing. But we were...
Obviously, your whole greed is when you try and get EGM farmed up on the off lane and leave Admiral Bulldog alone inside the jungle. That was, yeah.
We were a bit, I don't know, we were not so sure about it, but we wanted to try it out. It didn't work out so well in the early game, but we were able to turn it around.
I kind of want to ask you a question about this because we were talking about it during. Well, I was talking about it with my stats man during game number 1. S4 and Magnus. He has played more Magnus than anybody else since the patch. Like, he's actually, I think it was the stat was he's played 60% of the Magnuses that have been picked up since the patch. Is this just something he's trying to bring back? Like, is there a reason for it?
They did make a small change for Mac. They changed his turn ratio, I'm quite sure.
I'm actually loading up the changelog too, so I know for certain too.
Yeah.
Magnus, turn rate improved was from 0.5 to 0.8.
Yeah, and I don't know if people realize this, especially if you're not a very experienced player, but these changes that comes to like turn ratio and attack animation, like these things are huge. And for a hero like Mag, it's a really huge buff, I think, and it is, or maybe not a huge buff, but it does enough to make the hero viable for us and S4. I think more people can use it as well, but I think he's a lot more. For example, if you go Mag mid against Bat now, it's a lot easier. So it's more about the fact that I think he's just a little bit stronger in mid. And S4 is like the best Mag in the world, so he likes making strats with that hero.
Well, let's be completely over-aggressive. Yeah, that works for him. How's it going to affect your game style, though? Because obviously we kind of... the days of the Darkseer vac into Alchemist concoction stuns and we just go all out team fights kind of thing. Do you feel with the new patch that's coming back? Like, your draft you played up against, like, EG had the team fight element was basically Fear and Jo, the ES as well as the DK, but everything else was rather single target focused.
It feels like this version is a lot about that, like single target, getting lane domination, first to take control. I mean, I think that's why the Chinese, for some reason, decided to go. I mean, I don't really agree with this style where you go triple Midas and try Midas and this shit.
Well, like Liquid today, they ran 4 Midases in their game.
Yeah, I think that people, they see something done and then they're like, oh my god, see what a gold lead they get. I think that good teams will learn to punish this. I just think the problem is that as the draft is right now, a lot of lineups have just what you said. They have a lot of like single target, lane control, roaming, gank heroes, these things. So if both teams have these heroes, you don't really have a way to like get towers easily or enter base easily. So if the team that takes control gets Midases on top of that, they will pretty much secure the game. That's how I see it. But if the other team has a good draft, I think it can be punishable.
But then on the other side of it all, you have heroes like Pugna who have gone up insanely in popularity because now he almost seems to be a blend of it, where you've got this single focus ability to decrepify, and then you've got the buff up, obviously, with the magic. And then you've also got the ability to push down towers. Do you almost want the meta to change into a push strat? Do you want to see the return of some, like, as I know Andy, like Draska was saying, he wants to see the return of Dazzle. As far as like aggressive pushes,
I think that Dazzle has been used quite a few times this version, and I think that there will be more and more push. But that's a lot of the time that's the results when the game is a lot about ganks and like getting kills and single targets. That's usually how the meta tries to fight back that kind of playstyle. But I think. Honestly, I feel that a lot of things are quite broken right now, and I feel that I think the metagame is fine as it is just right now, as long as they will change a few heroes. I still think Vino is a bit broken. I mean, everyone doesn't agree to that, but I think that hero is quite stupid. I think Night Stalker got. I don't know if he really needed a buff, but it wasn't really meant as a buff for only him, I guess, when they changed night to and day.
Well, yeah, he got a direct buff as well as an indirect buff.
Yeah, exactly, and I feel that he's not OP or anything like that. It's just that I feel that some heroes don't really need buffs, and still they get buffed when they're already viable in the meta. And I think the scary thing about doing that is that suddenly there are heroes that are so much worse on every point in the game, pretty much. You can't stand on the lane. You're not as good at ganking. You're not as good in team fights. I mean, sure, I saw that Fnatic won today against Liquid with Wisp Tiny, but Tiny is, for example, such a hero that I feel is like just quite useless. It has like 0 armor. Sure, it has 2 spells, but he can't even afford casting both spells on level 2 if he hasn't like some stats. I just think that the heroes that can't enter the meta are the ones you should fix before you buff heroes that are there. Kind of, I don't know. Hard to explain, but
Yeah,
that's what
I think I get what you're meaning here, and I'm pretty sure half the chat would probably also understand as well.
But other than that, I really love this version. Honestly, like it's made the game a bit more chaotic, and I think it's made the game more action packed as well most of the time.
Well,
The
I can tell you from a casting perspective, it's
Yeah.
so much more entertaining to watch. Because at the start of the game, in the old one, it was like, okay, this will be our tri lane, this will be our mid solo, this will be our off lane. We know he's going to try and block the pull spots. We know this is going to happen. And now the creep waves change up, and teams like I think I've seen 4 dual mids recently, and it's like, wait.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much every lane and everything is changing, and I think that's mostly. I mean, a lot of to the buffs and everything, but mostly I think it was due to the way he changed the map with the off lane, how the creeps arrived, with the jungle, all like this, and all those changes. I think were like perfect. Honestly, when it comes to like the changing the jungle and changing the offlane, I think was very very good because it just makes so much more things viable.
It makes your offlaners safer, almost.
Yeah, I think Bounty is also a hero that is extremely strong right now. Like he can just run around invis in the opponent's forest when they have like Chen or something and just share EXP and steal some gold. Maybe I don't know. I think
Fear refused to give that to you tonight. Banned out in both your games. You can see it coming from a mile away though. But you ban out a bounty hunter up against you guys, and then you got the rest of the world to pick from. RK managed to get his Visage up, one of the most frustrating heroes to play up against, and he managed to get it twice.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I mean, I don't make so much sense because I say pretty much everything is broken. But that's how I feel about Visage as well. I think that hero is so much stronger than pretty much all the supports. I think the birds are like, oh my god, and a nuke and everything. And the way they nerfed him was that they nerfed the passive. That it's not even the thing that made him so strong, in my opinion. But he's not broken, but I think he's a little bit too strong as well.
I know you
the
trade.
most annoying thing is the birds.
Yeah.
You can't like the fact that you can't click the ground to hit the birds is something that pisses me off so hard because because then it's better to have auto attack on in situations where the birds are running away because you can get those projectiles off that you usually don't get if you can't click on the hero. But towards the birds you can't do that if you don't have auto attack on because your hero will never focus the birds automatically even if they're the only target. And I think that's a bit stupid. I don't know why.
I didn't even know about that. That's going to make it impossible when you're like trying to fight these Roshan birds around the Roshan pit when you got vision for like a split second to attack.
Yeah, and I'm one of those players that turn off auto attack, so I'm not sure how I feel about it. But that's not something that makes him broken, really. But I feel it's just something that is more stupid than anything.
Yeah, I remember you having the tweet battle with Eternal Envy, where you basically said, like, Visage, one of the most frustrating heroes to play against, and he's like, well, I'll trade you Lich any day, as far as the most broken hero you can have.
I don't really know about Lich, though, because I think it was nice that he got viable now, but we've seen many games where people go for the early Lich pick, and then they will just get pushed by, like, Pugna and shit.
But he got in for, like, the first 2 or 3 days of the new patch, and after that, was banned in every single game now.
Yeah.
It's Bounty Hunter and Lich were the 2 primarily banned out against you tonight from EG.
That's often the result from heroes that are annoying to deal with. More than I think that Lich is. I really don't think Lich is too strong right now.
You just feel he's a frustrating hero on lane.
Yeah, I think he was fucking frustrating before as well. I mean, he's like the most annoying hero to play against as a carry. Like the creeps come like one by one, and sometimes creeps doesn't come, and then you play a scrim and you face like Lich off lane with Shaker pulling the ancients, and you're like, what? There's like no creeps coming and stuff like that. I guess you don't want to face. But
it's like the ultimate crap. The ultimate crap.
Yeah, I feel that every version is just working on ruining it for carries, but I think that's fine.
Well, it seems to be the age of the supports. It really
Yeah,
seems to be the age
yeah,
of the
it
supports.
does feel like that, and also the fact that like the heroes you put on supports are often like when it's a hero like Elder Titan and stuff, it's because the hero is just so strong that he works everywhere, so we put him on support. So the strongest heroes are pretty much supports
Mm.
in a lot of the cases.
I want to actually ask you about something which didn't come up today in your game up against EG.
Yeah.
And it's something which has been like flooding into so many games, especially when I watch a lot of Chinese games. The necro books are everywhere, and Melk was talking about this before, saying that necro books is now like get 3 necro books, get a Pugner, and win. Is basically it when he was casting him before. What's your opinion on the necro kids?
I do agree there as well with Milk. I feel that the way they changed Necro made it too strong. The way you can't Midas it, you can't Helm of Dominator it. The only thing you can do is pretty much get Diffusal. There are some other options as well. You can infest a Necro and destroy it, I guess. But I feel the problem is that also, like an ability like Omni Slash doesn't kill Necros in one hit. It takes like 4 hits to kill a Necro 3.
Mm-hmm.
So Juggernaut is like useless, even if you're Aghanims when they push with Necros. And like I think there's a lot of heroes that were stronger before, so you didn't really realize how strong the Necros are right now. I'm not sure how to fix it though. I don't really know if it's broken or not. I mean, it's still quite an expensive item, and before it wasn't bought at all.
It's probably the
Uh,
reason why you see the hand of Mises coming up as
Yeah,
as
yeah, yeah,
well.
exactly. I mean, sometimes you just have to remember that stuff isn't always imba or broken just because people keep running it. It's just that no one, like, people haven't played against Necro Push in so long, so when you face this over and over again, you don't really know how to deal with it. But then maybe after a month, then Necro is gonna phase out because people can deal with it again, or they will start picking more safe, so you won't get pushed in that way. So it's really hard to know if stuff is actually balanced or not until you've waited a couple of months.
All right. I've taken up a lot of your time already, but I'm going to have one last combo question to actually ask you about. And the reason why I want to ask is because I watched Fnatic run it early today up against Team Liquid, and insanely successfully as well. And it's the guy who's been nerfed in actually quite badly. And
You
it's
mean right?
yeah, I'm meaning Wisp. So the tether stun is removed, but they ran it in 2 of their games today. They ran it with Wisp and Tiny, and Wisp and Ricky Maru. The Wisp and Tiny was a combination that went up against Liquid, but it seemed to be still rather effective. But do you still think the Wisp is viable? Like you guys, like both Alliance and EG didn't touch him with a 10-foot pole tonight.
I think Wisp is very weak, honestly. I feel the hero is. Yeah, I think the nerf on the tether was a bit too big. I mean, sure, I think that maybe Wisp Tiny is like one of the combos that is still quite viable. That's something we've been discussing. Ricky Wisp is decent, but it's still not the same. It's really not the same. And there's so many situations where it's just very hard to fight with Wisp now, because before you had these short stuns, maybe from tether and everything, that made him survive, and he could like tether to things. But right now, Wisp just dies quite easy, in my opinion. And during the laning phase, he's not so strong either.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel a bit sad when it comes to that hero. But I mean, at the same time, I felt he was a bit too strong last version as well. So once again, I think that the nerf for Wisp shouldn't be about the tether. I think it should have been something more regarding the ult, like increasing the cooldown a lot, or I don't know, maybe nerfing overcharge. I'm not sure. I think the hero is very hard to run right now.
But at the same time, it changes up. There's enough. There's nothing. There's enough support heroes that can replace him. It just changes the game style.
Yeah. So I think that Wisp, he does work, but you really need to have a strat that revolves around this Wisp, and you need to learn how to play, because I think that because 100% reduction in Dota 2 isn't 100. Isn't like 0 MS. It's like 100 ms. If you lose 100% movement speed, I think you still have 100 ms or something. I think that's
Yeah.
the...
You can't drop below the. I think it's 100,
Yeah.
100 and something.
So
yeah.
they're not even immobilized.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's just so bad against so many heroes. Like we tried running it against I remember we played against a Slardar that game.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem is just like Wisp can never be in any of those situations he was in before, where you can like tether in, stun, kite out, do the spirits, earn,
Yeah.
blah blah blah. Because now it's like tether in, okay, Slardar stuns you, you're dead.
Yeah, there is the downside though, because it I don't know. Does it change the animation speed for like a Slardar Crush? Because it changes both attack speed as well as the movement speed. So there's a double to the tether effect. I don't know. Maybe someone in the chat can actually give us an answer on that one.
I don't think animations are affected, but I'm not sure about that.
Because if it's slow the animations, like if Slardar animation for Crush, obviously it's going to rise up and then come back down again.
If it was something, yeah, exactly.
Maybe then it would be.
Maybe if it was something like Enchantress passive when you get hit by it, so you also, yeah, you know.
That'd be nice. So you get untouchable, and
yeah, I think that's a very good way to make him viable again.
There we go. Suggestions to Ice Rock from LODA. Anyway, thank you very much for your time, man. I know I've taken up a decent chunk of it as well. But yeah, good luck in the rest of the Dota 2 Championship League, and maybe we'll see you on later tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and also a quick shout out to XMG, Monster, and Racer, our awesome sponsors. And
Wonderful.
thank you.
Yeah, you know how to be a team player for the sponsors, man.
Do my best.
Wonderful.
Cheers.
All right.
Cheers.
Latest, dude. All right, guys. So that was LODA from the Alliance. We still have another 35 minutes before Na'Vi versus Mousesports will start. Mousesports cannot play earlier than that time, so we'll have ourselves a bit of a music break. But that was an interview with LODA. That is the guy who's appearing on your screen right now with the image. Hopefully you enjoy the interview, and maybe we'll have some more of him in the near future. All right, back to the tunes, peoples.